Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage we're getting Purdey up in the air and we're going to extract her exhaust system. So just before we get going, we're on James Dolan now on the calendar, and Eeyore, the XK8 in Old Windsor, because it's February. So I said goodbye to Brian Neff's 2005 XKR Barncat in Coudersport, Pennsylvania. And a little hi to everybody who's on the bottom of the page. So we've got Keys Tannis, Colin Reed, Jim Reed, Monica McCready, and Wolfram Halipka. Let's put the February back up. And at the bottom of this page, we've got John Bulkwill, Richard Watkins, Terry Collins, Steve Bass, Gareth Miles, and Richard Smith. Hi everybody. So last time I got through telling you that these are the clamps that come with the kit from Adamesh, and they're completely adequate. There's no problem with them whatsoever, but they're not stainless steel, and that I was fine with that. Well, what can I say? I'm weak. So, not very long after I'd made the film, I thought, sod it, no. So I've bought myself some nice stainless steel clamps to go around the exhaust. And this isn't really an endurance thing. The steel ones are zinc plated, I guess, and they would be absolutely fine. This is more about me clambering around underneath the car, admiring my lovely exhaust, and just being a little bit irritated by the bolt heads hanging down. So I just prefer these smooth things. So yes, I spent some more money, and I'm not saying you have to, but I will put a link below in the description just in case you want to do similar. These are proper stainless steel inox 56 to 59 mil bobbin clamps. I think these probably have a proper name. I've always thought of them as bobbin clamps for this reason. But yeah, nice stainless steel exhaust clamps basically. Okay, so let's take a bit of a tour. First thing to note before we start this task is look at the alignment of the exhaust. Now you can't normally see this because the angle, the bodywork, etc. But this is square onto the back of the car. So it's right over to the right hand side and quite low in this enormous oval shape here, which straight away tells you it was intended for a different exhaust exit pipe. Maybe a late styling change, maybe reserving twin pipes for the XKR. But however you look at it, this is straight on square level with this piece. So it's barely up into the cavity, and I'm going to say 30 mil above the boot base. So really quite unusual location. I'll show you the other side just so that you know it's not a wonky install or anything like that. So same again, well back from here, at least half the pipe below the bodywork, and extraordinarily off center. And you got these big boxes that are rotated through 45 degrees to lose a bit of width on them. And they go back and up to a clamp just there. And that's the first thing we're going to try and remove. There's a hanger just up there, look, but holds the whole thing up. And this is an early car, so the hangers, the fingers on them point towards the side of the car. Later cars, they point forward backward. There's the clamp. I have already sprayed a little bit of penetrant on there. and we'll be having a go at getting that off any moment. As we go back under the car, you see the over axle pipes go up and over the drive shaft. And I talk a lot about the compressed section in these, and a lot of people look up there and say, oh yeah, I can see a bit squashed, but it ain't that bad, John. You ain't looking at the right bit yet. The right bit is when it comes down the other side. And you might be able to see there how wide it looks. Let's just take a look. This is another box we'll be removing. And there's where it connects to the big centre box, which is one we're leaving. And that's known as an Xbox, not like PlayStation. And that's because the perforated pipes inside it are able to talk to each other, so the gases can mingle and move between the two systems. The bit I'm talking about, boys and girls, is that every Jag has got it. That's just to aid factory install. Massive restriction. There's going to be some of you jumping up and down thinking, ah, John, the cross-sectional area is exactly the same. Yes, I know that. I've spoken about it previously. We can go through it another time. But gas flow is much greater through a circle than it is through a rectangle of the same cross-sectional area. And that restriction is real and is very significant. Front end just goes forward and then up through two 90-degree elbows into our catalytic converters, which are actually the most significant noise reduction devices on the car. So we've got just two clamps on this original equipment system, one here, well, four I should say, one each system, and one there. So it's only got 1, 2 elements at the rear, which means it's rather hard to manoeuvre into position, hence the squashed section. The replacement has got smaller pieces, more parts, and therefore doesn't need the restriction. Why wouldn't it go on? Goes on there. This nut does not appear to be even size all the way around. We may be cutting this bracket off because the opening spanner will go on it in some places but not others. Can I suggest it's been got at with something before or filed on one edge, but why would you? This thing ain't coming off through conventional means. Maybe a disc cutter going through here. So, having manfully done battle for a good hour trying to get their bolts out the tailpipe clamps, I'm bringing out the big guns, hence this. So I've got my angle grinder disc cutter with a metal cutting disc. Always use the right sort of discs. Metal cutting discs are typically very thin but very tough. so they're not going to shatter on you every 5 seconds. So use the right tools. Stay safe, kids. The location does make it very difficult to get in just there. Hopefully I've done enough. The tension on the bolt should make it break anyway. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to have to move the camera just to get a swing at that. I'll come back to you in a bit. Ironically, 2 blows with a hammer after I put the camera down, it sprung apart. So, theoretically now, I should be able to wriggle that section of exhaust off. There's a 25 years of corrosion to contend with, but I'm hopeful, because of the leverage, we should be okay. Okay, so I'm going to wriggle this rubber off of its mount, then use the exhaust to rotate and hopefully pull this clear. Just using the needle nose pliers as a lever to pull the rubber, or push the rubber off its spike. There is actually a proper tool you can buy for doing this, and it's around and about now. I wish I'd got one, but it will come off. It will not defeat me. There we go, and it's off. Took that up. Right, so now let's give it a wobble. And then if we can get it to rotate, we'll definitely get it off. There we go. That's released it. So we'll just apply a little bit of pressure. Oh, yaps fell off. It's getting serious. And we're off! Success! 1 of 4 lumps. You can see if you were jacked up at the side of the road, you'd have less space to manoeuvre the exhaust, but it is doable. I've done it previously on an axle stand. There we go. Okay, so we've just removed this section from the exhaust system, leaving in the over axle, the resonator muffler that comes before the over axle, the short pipe, and the big center box. So that's what we've taken out. And if I just compare back again with what we're replacing it with, before we've even considered what's inside that box, you can see that this is going to be a lot less restrictive as a system. This has got lots of twists and turns in it to get the tailpipe in the right place, to get the box in the right place so it doesn't hang down. This can take the straight route, and it's just got one curve, two curve, and there's a very minor kink just there. And I take this out of the way, and it only goes off at that angle because this is in the wrong plane. It actually goes in that plane, and that is what we're left with. Let's just have a quick comparison on weights. This is stainless steel and is particularly, as I keep calling it, beefy, which is a good thing. In fact, for accuracy, I only measure 2 at a time, because like all bathroom weighing scales, they're not good at the lighter weight end of the scale because of the friction of getting things moving. So in the middle, 2 tailpipe units, comes to 4 kilograms. Now, if I get 2 Jaguar tailpipes, just support them, that comes to 12 kilograms. Ooh. So we've got a saving straight away of 8 kilograms. So we're not saying anything at all against what I'm taking off. These silencers, oh yeah, let's turn it over for you. You will see Jaguar XK8. And there's the original serial numbers, just for those who are interested in that sort of thing. Type TGA. I think that's his Arvin. Let's have a look, see if we can see it better on the other one. Yep, Arvin, which I think, could be wrong, stands for Arvin Meritor, which is a brand. And it's a 1027742T. And despite being 25 years old, at least, it's all in one piece. It's looking scruffy, but it's all there and it all works. Another little point of order. A few people commented after the first video in the saga, oh well, the Adamesh system, the problem is, of course, it's got those clamp-on tips and they don't have a resonator inside, so it's not very OE or professional. Let's just look back at the original units. This, yeah, real stainless steel, genuinely welded on in one spot. But look at the back. It's literally just a sleeve, an oval sleeve for that matter, which is pushed over a round tube and spot welded just in 2 points, top and bottom. And let's have a look in the end. There's no resonator. All we've got is a bit of a flare on the standard tubing, and the edge is just there. It's just been spread out a little bit near the tip, and not even very accurately. So yeah, they're original. The Adamesh ones aren't, but I could quite easily argue that the Adamesh ones look more professional. I'm going to put a Borescope down this and have a look inside so that we can delve into it. Okay, I don't know if I've ever introduced you guys to my inspection camera or Borescope before. Can't remember, if I'm honest. It's this one. It's a Depstech. It's not high end, it's not expensive, it does exactly what I need. It's got a really long cable on it. It's got this little unit which is rechargeable, which has a Bluetooth transmitter in it. It has a camera unit on the end with a wide angle lens and a light array around the lens. This is 8.8mm at the end. There's a slightly larger bezel on the end. This is the tiny pot of accessories that comes with my inspection camera. There's this little gadget which screws on the end. The camera can look through the hole here. There you go. And that's a hook, just for picking things up from remote places. And this one, again, the camera can look through there at a mirror, which is at 45 degrees, so it can look sideways a little bit better. And the other item is this one, again, screws onto the end, it looks through there, but that's blind, and on the end there is a little magnet. There you go. Little magnet, again, for picking things up. Oops. So if I want to use the 45 degree mirror now, what you do is unscrew little protective ferrule, that piece on, and now it looks this way. And because the lights are surrounding the lens, if I put the light on, just find the right, there we go. You can see the light also comes out at 45 degrees as well. Now, what I learned from running the camera through was a little unexpected. Rather than a diagonal pipe linking the two ends, because of the offset pipes, or as I suspected, two parallel pipes with perforations, there is actually a curved pipe inside there with perforations at certain positions along the journey. So, not the clearest shots, it has to be said, because you can't really get away from the walls to take a clear photo. But what these images show us, we went all the way through, checking out, see the perforations in the tube there, and we have a shot here just proving going in from one end all the way through. You can see daylight, a bit twitchy, there we go, to the other end. So that shows you that it is just one continuous tube, even though there's a few kinks and turns in there. There's me. And yep, perforated tube along the walls, and in the back of this perforation there is a mesh or gauze to stop the wadding from coming through. And on some cheaper exhausts you'll get wadding actually start to come out the tailpipe. So yeah, the mesh you can see clearly in that still. These, as we talked about, in early cars go sideways, and in later cars go along the line of the exhaust. So make sure you order the right exhaust so that you get the right bracketry. The rubbers that these hang off look like this. And again, this is an original. And it is MJA 6790 And I think it says IC or AC. AC. And this actually does not look bad, it has to be said, for a 25-year-old rubber. However, I am going to replace it. Originals like this are getting hard to get. And when you can get them, they're quite expensive or big backlogs. So I've ordered up some alternates, which have the same hole spacing and hole size. And I'll share those with you in the next video. So if you want to do the same as me, you can. But it's got to be said that you could put that back on. Holes rather damaged and elongated there. But it is usable after 25 years. Testimony to quality. Still supple. Well, I'm going to leave it there for today. I know I said this particular saga was going to be in 4 parts. It's going to be in more just because the weather is appalling. I'm cold. And a pasty is calling in the house. So I'm going to break this into smaller chunks and it'll probably come out smoother and quicker anyway because of that. First bit's off. Next, we'll get to seeing if we can release the bolts that are holding in the resonators and the overaxle pipes. Then you can have a look at those. Please subscribe, please comment, give us a thumbs up. If you want to buy a woolly hat so that you can keep your head reasonably warm and not bump it underneath your car, then go over to www.tothegarage.co.uk or buy a sticker, and in that way you can support the channel. Always free, all the time. See you guys, bye.